On January 20th, the digital games retailer Steam peaked at 28 million users. With so many people interacting online, it's important that we are making ethical decisions because it could affect so many people. On to my thesis. Kantian ethics can be applied to video games even though they are virtual worlds because they have the chance to influence people in very profound ways. Let's say you're having fun with your friends in Minecraft, and all of a sudden someone starts demolishing you with computer-assisted cheats. What should you do, and what would you do if you were that cheater? To answer these questions, let's look to Kantian ethics to see if we can apply some concepts to help us guide our actions. To oversimplify, Kantian ethics is about duty and categorical imperative. Now, you may be wondering,
but Ishan, what is categorical imperative?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Categorical imperative, to put simply, is taking a subjective rule and seeing if it applies to everyone at all times universally. In other words, act as you would want all other people to act towards all other people. Let's start with a subjective rule. People ought to have fun when playing video games because that's what they're made for. Can we universalize this statement? Yes, we can. The reason why this works under Kantian ethics is because of the categorical imperative, that we ought to act in fun ways as we would want all other people to act towards each other. Essentially, what this is saying is, I am acting in the way that would universally apply to everyone else at all times. Let's go back to the example of the cheater. The cheater's actions contain an underlying claim. It's okay to cheat and ruin the fun of others. This leads to a contradiction, as you're saying it's okay for others to ruin your own fun, and then you ruin the fun of others, and they ruin the fun of yours, and so forth. To conclude this topic, with the application of Kantian ethics, we have determined that it's not only our duty to have fun, but our duty to help others have fun as well. Let's shift gears into the nefarious sides of video games, toxicity. The popular multiplayer online battle arena, League of Legends, is notorious for being toxic, and there have been people that have committed suicide as a result of this. In League of Legends, there has been an identifiable cycle of toxicity that many players fall into. So, what does Kantian ethics have to say about this? Let's dive into a common behavior that happens in League of Legends. While in an ongoing match in League of Legends, in order to facilitate collaboration and teamwork, the developers added a ping system, where teammates can highlight on the map to alert others of incoming dangers, future plans, their presence, and whether or not the enemy can see them. Due to frustrations, communication errors, and the general culture of League of Legends, people will experience emotional outbursts where they take out their frustrations on their teammates. The developers are aware of this and have consequently banned millions of accounts for toxic behavior in the text chat. Now we get to where the true toxicity lies. They use the ping system to signal alternate unintended meanings. They do this to avoid getting banned for using the chat for nefarious purposes. One of the pings the developers added is called the bait ping. Its intended purpose was to alert other players that the enemy is trying to bait you into a trap. This is where the bait ping becomes extremely dark. Due to an oversight of the developers, the bait ping looks like a noose. Players have used this to tell other players to kill themselves. Applying Kantian ethics, we can see part of the reason why toxicity in League of Legends has gotten to this point. Because people could not contain their frustrations, they broke categorical imperative to say terrible things, thus opening themselves up for terrible things to be said about them, and then they say it back, and so forth. Then they take that emotional hurt into the next game, where others have done the same, and engage in that same behavior again. This creates a cycle of toxicity, as it only takes a few people to begin that cycle of saying terrible things to each other. In conclusion, there are very real reasons as to why we should examine our behavior online, because there are people behind the screen. Engaging in moral and ethical behavior as part of our duty will help others have fun and help break the cycle of toxicity. Take this as a call to action. Examine carefully your behavior online and think about the consequences that your actions entail and think about how you can improve your conduct.